everybody. By which I mean nobody yet, obviously. I'm still getting used to this, like, trying to figure out what to do with the beginning of the time before anybody's joined. But I'm happy to see you guys, you putative people, and anybody who isn't live. Still happy you're here. Hi. So let's see. My drink today is Turkish tea, and so funny story on this one. I'm probably way too caffeinated at the moment because, well, first of all, Turkish tea is quite strong. You usually drink it in tiny little tulip-shaped cups, glasses. I'll probably bring one of those at some point. So, but they're probably like, I would guess, a third to a half a cup in volume. It's a little hard to measure because it's tulip shape. This is 2 cups, and I drank a full one of these first thing in the morning, and then I drank a full one of these of strong coffee, and now I'm drinking my second one of strong Turkish tea. So clearly I'm not good at being a responsible adult in my caffeine intake. Actually, no, I think it's the responsible adults drink way too much caffeine. That's what makes them responsible adults, right? But yeah, so if you're not familiar with Turkish tea, Turkey, I believe, grows its own tea, I think mostly in the Rize region. So unlike most of the tea that comes out of China and India, it's actually a different kind. I mean, it's the same plant, but it's got its own flavor and quality to it. It's a lot more astringent than a lot of teas that I drink, but in a good way. So it's got that faint, like, sort of almost woodiness, and then kind of a flowery flavor. And it's just very, like, rich and robust and delicious, and it tastes like my childhood, and I like it. And it grows on not grows, you brew it in a cool double-decker teapot, which maybe I'll bring down and show you at some point. It doesn't grow on a teapot, double-decker otherwise. Hi, Katie. But yeah, and remind me at some point to talk about the mason jar too. I'm trying to, like, save cool things to talk about, but I mean, not always, but often drink out of a mason jar, and I realized at a certain point, actually, yeah, I'll just talk about it now, because here I am. So I drink out of it, and I'm not sure quite why. It's a mannerism I picked, not mannerism, but like an eccentricity that I picked up at some point down the path. And I don't do it, like, just to be hipstery and weird, but I do it all the time. And I realized at a certain point that it makes no sense because the glass gets really, really hot, and so you have to, like, hold it by the tip. I mean, this tea is not hot, but you know, so it's like, so is this purely just an affectation that I drink out of a mason jar all the time? And I was about to get really annoyed with myself, and then I realized that it's actually a brilliant form factor for my design needs in a cup. So it fits in a car cup holder, which most large capacity cups don't. So yeah, I mean, first of all, it's 2 cups, like I was saying. So I mean, 2 liquid measure cups, you can see on the side. And so that's more than most mugs hold, and I like to drink my drinks in large quantities because I'm such a responsible adult. It's see-through. I mean, it's transparent and untinted glass, which I really like, so you can see the pretty color of the drink that you're drinking. Or if you're drinking tea or coffee with milk in it, probably anything with milk in it, when you pour the milk in, it just billows out, and it's really super cool. So I like clear mugs and mason jars. Oh yeah, but so it doesn't have, it's got high volume, it doesn't have a handle, but it does have this part that you can hold it by, and it fits into a car cup holder, and it's got a sloped inward, or like a concave sloped top, such that when it's splashing around, it tends to splash into itself rather than out of itself, which is great for when you're I was gonna say drinking and driving, but I mean drinking coffee and driving, so that's fine. I mean, you know, still be responsible, but yeah, anyway, so it's occurring to me now, though, that a lot of these form factor advantages have to do with driving with a large beverage. and now I don't drive anywhere near as much because I'm working from home. So maybe now it's just an affectation. Anyway. Plus it intimidates your enemies, because you can, once you get good at it, you can hold the jar without burning your fingers, but it seems to everybody else like you should be totally burning your fingers, and so you can just be like, yeah, I'm just holding a cup of intensely hot liquid. What are you gonna do to me? And everybody cowers. That's probably how I got to be such a dominant position in the world. I mean, you can tell. Alright, that's probably enough of that. How are you guys doing? I would love to hear from you in the comments. What are you up to? What are you drinking? What's on your mind? Okay, so we're continuing to read from the Dreamworld Collective. And we're about to start chapter 3, Japanese Banglo Mystique. I invented that word and I can't even say it apparently. Ooh, hi Stefan. Stefan. Ooh, English breakfast tea. Alright, chapter 3. Japanese Banglo Mystique. See, I can't pronounce it. I was just tricking you. Otto was still soldering furiously when the door banged open and slammed against the cushion of dirty clothes he had strategically placed behind it. God! He whirled to see Sushi framed in the doorway, eyes alight with a strange fire. First rule of soldiering, he exclaimed. No sudden movements when the iron is on. He waved the slightly smoking soldering iron to show her. No time for that, Mutton. Come with me if you want to live. Sushi didn't do the accent, but Otto could never resist a well-placed movie quote. He made 2 more delicate adjustments with his soldering iron, then unplugged it. Come on, urged Sushi. There's doin's a transpiring. Otto raised a finger briefly, then deftly screwed his project shut. He held the object out to Sushi. She eyed it suspiciously. Is that a bomb? Otto shook his head. Tiny robot overlord? Modified probe? Listening device? He kept shaking his head, then paused. Actually, yeah, sort of. It's a walkie-talkie. I've made a few special modifications. His eyes narrowed slyly. Sushi snatched it from his hand like a savage taking an explorer's gift and stuffed it into her pocket. Okay, whatever. Now come on. She grabbed his wrist and started dragging him in a strictly metaphorical sense down the stairs. Otto could have sat down and become completely immovable, but he decided to humor her. For one thing, it was about as close as he ever got to holding hands with a pretty girl, and he was getting curious. Sushi goaded him down the drizzly street with periodic, well-placed whacks. Too bright, he moaned, though the day was actually quite dim. Freaking sunlight. Then, in his Gollum voice, it ends us. Quiet, Ophir, you'll never see your beloved caverns again, cried Sushi. By the way, quick aside here, it's super hard doing... Thank you, Amanda. I do too. I'm just really proud of that. Also, a quick aside. This is the worst book for reading out loud because it's got 5 main characters and none of them have any obviously distinguishing vocal characteristics other than Otto, who gets a little grandiose sometimes, so we'll see how that turns out. But like none of them have accents or anything. Eddie is going to, and that's going to be fun. He's basically Gordon Ramsay in my head. But yeah, so bear with me while I figure that out because it's going to be ridiculous. I'm not good at distinguishing men from ladies in the first place, much less men from other men, and yeah, so hopefully we'll figure it out together. Quiet, Ophir, you'll never see your beloved caverns again, cried Sushi. This was not strictly true, as it turned out. After a brisk walk, numerous whacks and mild punchings, a good-natured stream of verbal abuse, and a brief stop for ice cream, they tumbled down the sticky steps and into the dim, cavernous interior of the tickled pig. Zen waved them over. Otto caught a cheesy whiff of spinach artichoke dip from a nearby table where a pair of old men were playing chess. He sighed contentedly and waved for the waitress. Where do we stand, boys? Asked Sushi, sliding into the booth. Alex laughed lightly, his arms casually stretched across the back of the seat. What can I say? I'm in. He flicked a finger towards Zen. He convinced me. Put the oaf in the picture, Sushi said. Sure, so I guess we're gonna try to live near each other and do cool adventures and stuff. Some kind of society of high-minded idealists and philosophical persons. Or schmip, if you will. Otto nodded. I read you. So basically it's business as usual. He turned to Sushi. This? All the whackings and sunlight and wetness and ice cream for this? You said there was doin's afoot. This isn't doin's. He looked at Zen. She said there was doin's. Sushi rolled her eyes. Seriously, Zen? You, the word crafter, the fount of inspiration, you couldn't give Alex a better idea of it than that? Zen waved a negligent hand. Don't worry about Alex. He's in a peculiar state of mind. No, what we're starting, Otto, is a Why Wait for Retirement Club. Our manifesto. 1. We refuse to settle for activities we don't love. 2. We will find our passions and pursue them relentlessly. 3. We will devise epic schemes and stratagems to enrich our quality of life. 4. I will cook. 5. Also, there will be muffins. So where you come in is we were planning to make you a high techno mage. You in? Thanks, Katie. Yeah, I do have a built-in advantage, at least, in that I know how they were actually saying it. Although I'm actually curious, like, once the audiobook gets made, to see how somebody else reads it. And that is, well, it's not quite in production yet, but I've got irons in the fire in that direction. I can't say too much. Let's see. Otto was impressed. It did sound better that way. He glanced at Sushi. She seemed to approve this time. High techno mage, you say? He considered this for a long moment. I'd require a technodrome, naturally, and Shasta. Cases of it, nodded Zen. Whatever, Sushi said briskly. Anyway, we're starting tomorrow, so just say yes and let's get to business. She turned to Zen. And it's the anti-corporate bastardism cult, not the why wait for whatever thing you said. Otto's mind began racing. He started talking. First, we will need our world headquarters with underground control center and an extensive spy network. Monkey butlers are your department, Zen. Alex, business plan and feasibility study. Venture capital, import-export. Sushi, quiet, cornpone, she cut him off. First is to figure out where Zen and Alex are supposed to live. Live? Otto chuckled. Oh, Sushi. Your artistic brilliance has left you out of touch with reality. They'll live in their apartment, of course. Remember? With walls and... Sushi punched him. They got evicted. Some techno mage you'd make. Extensive spy network my grandpa's suspenders. Dude! Zen slammed the table and sat bolt upright. Alex jumped. Stop doing that, he cried. Sorry, Zen lowered his voice, but I got it. We should all live together. We could just move in with you or downstairs or something. No vacant apartments. You'd have to live with us, said Sushi, which is possible. Only where would we stash the geekish oaf? It's a little tight. Yeah, Otto agreed, and I don't do well with sunlight, or laundry, or sleeping at night, or quietly. What if we all moved in with you, Otto? Suggested Alex. Mrs. Dunden's place? Otto replied doubtfully. It was an interesting idea. In fact, interesting didn't begin to describe it. Zen having intent conversations with Mrs. D late into the night, Summer gaining whole new ranks in weird herb tea lore, Sushi 2 rooms away. I'm not sure that would be the... I mean... Otto's voice squeaked. It's just, she's a troubled lady, and the stress might be a little too... and the punchings... No, it's cool, man, said Alex. You've got a good thing going. No point shaking that up. We could use a stable base of operations. But that still leaves us without a house, observed Zen. Yeah, agreed Otto, and with an overground control center. He heaved a profound sigh. Freaking sunlight. What the hell? Summer's mind raced in fury. What kind of idiot old man could be that bitter and mean? What did he care if she found the place relaxing? She hadn't done any harm. The old house wasn't likely to get much more derelict than it was already. He'd ruined a perfectly good... No, it wasn't even that good a day. Unaware of the neighborhood slipping by, she fumed all the way back to her apartment, slung her bag onto the floor, slammed the door shut, and stormed into the kitchen. All she wanted was to rant at someone, but Sushi wouldn't be home from work yet. A vivid pink note on the kitchen table snatched her attention. She grabbed it and read, Big things happening. Meet us at the Pig. You will be happy. S. Her heart leapt. She couldn't figure out what Sushi was talking about, much less why she'd be at the Pig in the middle of a workday, but it sounded promising. Maybe the ad agency was doing a promotion or something. Summer left the apartment as quickly as she'd arrived. The cozy atmosphere of the Pig was a welcome relief after the autumn drizzle and the endless racings of her mind. She immediately spotted Sushi and the boys sitting at a table caught up in an eager discussion around a crockery bowl with spinach artichoke dip. Hey boys, Sushi. She slid into the booth, her hips ramming Sushi into Alex. Sushi gave her a shove. Get away, mudball! Look at you! You're gonna get my pants all... Summer shrugged. Too late. She snatched a tiny slice of bread and loaded it up with warm, cheesy dip. Now make me happy. I want the happy. We're starting a guild, blurted Otto. The Adventuresome Fellows. I'm going to be the High Techno Mage. Zen's looking into monkey butlers, and they need a good home. Oh, and they need a good home. The monkey butlers? Summer asked. Don't be ridiculous, scoffed Otto. They'd hardly be fit to buttle if they'd been brought up in bad homes. Don't listen to him, Sushi interrupted with a flick of her silky black hair. We're going to destroy corporate from the inside. No, outside. Complete outside. We're starting a, what was the word, Zen? Consortium, he replied. To do all the stuff we always want to, but nobody will let you because they've convinced themselves it won't work. And it's us who need to get a house, added Alex. We got evicted. What? Asked Summer sharply. So basically, we need a hammock-friendly house, Zen concluded. Also, a fire pit would be good. And a studio, added Sushi. And, Otto raised a finger delicately, a technodrome. Summer sat silent for a moment, awed at the enormity of the idea brewing inside her. Our manifesto is as follows, Zen began. No, quiet, Sushi shushed him. Summer's face was practically glowing with inspiration. I have it. A smile spread on Summer's face. She felt profoundly calm, uplifted in the presence of an idea too high for joking. I know the perfect place. It's this old house at 518 Sparkleberry Lane. It's got a great porch and a garden and a little tower thing. We could all live there and form a collective. The word was capitalized the way she said it. Her eyes widened for a moment, then she smiled slyly. The Dream World Collective. And then when they tell us we're just living in a dream world, the others began laughing with delight. Brilliant, cried Zen. Deliciously subversive. And the rule is chase what you love, declared Alex. And watch each other's backs, added Summer. And be your actual self, said Zen. And spread beauty, said Sushi. And share the love, finished Otto. The Dream World Collective. Summer raised someone's water, and the others hoisted their drinks and clinked them with enthusiastic cheers. A surge of hopeful, unbearable excitement burst in Summer's chest. She tried to hold back, to realize they always talked about this sort of thing and nothing would necessarily come of it. But it felt different this time. As the others chatted excitedly, Summer's mind drifted. It occurred to her to wonder if the house would even be livable. It was in pretty bad shape, and the crotchety neighbor would cause problems if they tried to live there as squatters. Could they rent an abandoned home? Stake a claim with the city, maybe? It felt so right in her mind. She could see Sushi painting in the beautiful old-fashioned sunroom in the back. Zen putting up his hammocks, Otto turning the tower into a technodrome, whatever that was. She imagined cooking with Alex, free from stupid jobs, just working the garden and taking care of neighbors' kids to pay the bills and helping the neighborhood become a place where people knew and cared about each other. It was so beautiful it almost hurt, and under the table her fists clenched with the effort of pushing down the hopeful imaginings. She had to wait a little longer, just see if it was really going to happen. There would be plenty of time for fantasy later. But you have to, the tone of Sushi's voice brought Summer's attention back sharply. You're the techno thingy. My operations HQ is already in place, Otto protested, and I'm getting a hella sweet deal at Mrs. D's place. Sorry, Sushi, I'm totally in with the collective thing. I'm just gonna do it from where I already live, you know? Sushi rolled her eyes. Boys. Oh, Sushi rolled her eyes. Boys, I swear. Have you seen my system? You want me to move that? I'd spend the first 3 days just... Otto clutched at his hair wildly at the idea. Unplugging! It would be insanity. Yeah, because sanity is clearly the guiding principle of your life, Mr. 8 a.m. bedtime. That's a totally different thing. You know, Da Vinci. Don't Da Vinci me. You're Sushi, Alex broke in. Let it go. We don't all have to live together for this to work. Sushi gave him a long look. Summer could see a complex, frustrated anger in her face. Then Sushi shrugged. Fine. Otto glanced around at the others awkwardly. I think I'm just gonna go home. I've got a raid and some things. Later, wizard. Zen gave him a fist bump. I'll be in radio contact, said Otto disconsolately, then perked up. Oh, that reminds me. He tossed a small walkie-talkie onto the table. I'm working on a set of these. I'll give you the others when they're done. Sushi rolled her eyes. Too geeky to live. As Otto left, the others began making arrangements, trying to figure out how to proceed. The girls decided to put the boys up for the night, and Summer began describing the house in more detail. A short while later, the radio crackled. Blue Hawaiian, come in. This is Papa Gremlin. Zen grabbed it. I read you, Papa. I've got the owner of the Dream House, Mikey Petrioli, construction guy for a little firm downtown. It says he inherited the house from his mother. I'm transmitting his contact info. Check the screen. Screen? asked Zen. Yeah, pull the cover up. Cover? Just yank the thingy. Zen tugged at what Summer had assumed was just the front of the radio walkie-talkie, and it flipped open to reveal a small color screen, neatly displaying a photograph and contact information for one Michael Pietrioli. Summer laughed and grabbed the radio from Zen. This is great, Otto. Suddenly the reality of the plan hit her. There was an owner, a real guy. We could actually do this. Zen plucked the walkie-talkie back out of her hand. I knew you were the right man for the job. Oh, for the job, Otto? Long live the collective. Papa Gremlin out. Alright, I think that's enough for today. Thank you guys for joining me. And as always, I love to hear from you, so feel free to leave contact, send me a note, bring a friend tomorrow if you want. Have a good one.